All right, what's up, guys? Let's go another build. Hey, I know, build video back to back, but you know, I want to show you guys what I'm cooking up. So this is not a new build of mine, but it's probably my favorite like void cascade level cap run builds, and it's for Vauban. I don't see a lot of people use Vauban. He's really good, but I understand why. He's a little bit annoying to build because he's greedy. He wants a bunch of strength, a bunch of duration, a bunch of range, a bunch of efficiency, a bunch of health, armor, shields, all that. He wants it all. So you got to make some sacrifices, but I'm gonna show you guys what I run with him to do level cap runs, and let me know what you guys think about it. I don't know, maybe I'm running him wrong, maybe you guys have some interesting build. So essentially what this build relies on is shield gating with his Bastille. I subsumed off his 3, his Orbital Strike. If you guys have a build for Orbital Strike, let me know. I've been looking for a build to try to make it work, and I can't seem to get it to, like, you know what I mean, but it's fine. So first off, let's talk about how the build works. So it's for Void Cascade. So in Void Cascade level cap, we're gonna have high level enemies doing a lot of damage. So the easiest way to survive that is by shield gaiting. So we have Brief Respite in the Aura mod slot. So whenever we spend energy on abilities, 150% of that comes back as shields. So when we get one tap in our shields, we'll be invulnerable for about 1 second. But I think with Catalyzing Shield, it's 1.3 seconds. So we'll be immune to damage for all that, anything, for 1.3 seconds, giving us enough time to recast our 4 to give us more shields to reset this duration. Pretty simple, right? So what does our 4 do? Our 4 is Bastille. So when we throw Bastille, it'll do a ring, like a cage. Enemies within the cage get suspended. It is affected by strength. So the more strength you have, the more enemy it lifts. So we have Molt Augmented, we have Precision Intensify, and I believe a Strength Shard. Yes, a Tau Strength Shard for 15 extra strength. So that puts us at about 200 strength, a little bit. No, 200 strength. 60 will be at, yeah, we'll be at 200 strength. So not bad. We managed to get some sneaky strength in here. So strength also benefits Bastille because it armor ships. So while they're suspended, Bastille will armor ship them. Granted, keep in mind this, I don't know, much of you might not know this, even if they're not lifted. So for example, let's say your Bastille can lift 20 enemies. So you have to be lifted to be armor shipped. Let's say there's 15 enemies in your Bastille and an Acolyte walks into your Bastille. Even though the Acolyte can't get CC'd by the Bastille, it will still get armor shipped because it's able to get lifted. Same thing with Overguard enemies. An Overguard enemy walks in, if there's space, they'll get lifted. We're not going to be using Vortex at all, but if you want to, Vortex is nice for grouping and it procs magnetic, but irrelevant. We're not talking about that at all. Next up, we have our Tesla Nervos. So Tesla Nervos is you charge up 4 balls, 3 balls? I think it's 3 balls. 4 balls. There's 4 balls. Charge up 4 balls. You throw them down. They roll out and seek out enemies. They latch onto the enemy and proc electric. Electric will then like link up to nearby enemies, CCing them. That's pretty much it. There is a build you could do with this to make it like do really good damage, but we're not talking about that right now. And minelayer. So with minelayer, there's only 3 useful ones, honestly. Vector pad is so irrelevant. Don't even bother building for it or thinking about it at all. It's just there. So essentially, the good ones are tether coil. Will throw a ball that will then shoot like webs or string or rope out, tether an enemy and pull them in. I believe if they pull them into Bastille and they get suspended, it'll let go and pull in more enemies. I could be wrong. I haven't like messed with that in a while. The best one though is Flechette Orb. So Flechette Orb, you throw a ball, it'll start spinning, shooting out nails. The damage is I'll give you that. But the reason it's good is because it scales with enemy level. So if you armor strip them, if you proc viral, it would do insane damage. Once you get to like level cap, it starts one-shotting anyway. So I wouldn't like subsume it off. And then lastly, you have Orb Driver. It gives you weapon damage increase. It's really good. I don't really mess with it, but if you guys want to do weapons platform on Vauban, definitely can, because it's passive. Enemies that are CC'd, they take 25% more damage. So you have the passive, you have Overdriver, you have an armor ship. It's really good. Nice day, good time, right? So our third ability is Photon Strike, but we subsumed it off because we don't really need it. Keep in mind, Photon Strike does scale with enemy level as well, but we're not worrying about that right now because we're subsuming it off. So we have Nourish. Why do we have Nourish? It's just for energy. Because we're spamming our Bastille to shield gate a lot, we're going to be doing a lot of abilities. This is going to happen like every couple of seconds. Worst case, you know, you're gonna spam it like back to back. You throw it, you take another hit, you lose all your shields, you throw it again. So it's not bad. So Nurse gives you a energy multiplier. So with 200% strength, we'll be looking at about 3 times energy multiplier, so assuming Molt Augmented is stacked up. But at base, with no Molt Augmented stacks, it would be about 1.3. It's not that bad. But once you stack it up Molt Augmented, it'll be, I think, 2 times. So I counted this in, but 2 times multiplier, which is really good. So how are we getting energy though? Energy we're getting from 2 mods. So Archon Stretch, whenever an ability procs electric, you're getting 2 energy per second for 5 seconds, and it gives you range, which you want stretch anyone in this build. So we're getting energy per second from this. and we have energy nexus. So why are we getting 5 energy a second with these 2 mods? You're super energy hungry. Trust me, you could get away with not using energy nexus, but it's a little bit less comfy. So if you don't want to use energy nexus, I recommend using rolling guard. I'm not a fan of rolling guard. That's up to you though. If you guys prefer rolling guard, put it in. If not, I recommend repelling Bastille. Also pretty chill mod. If you guys don't want that either, the world is your oyster, I guess. I don't know. Mess around with it. Test it out. Hey, it's me again. If you guys are enjoying the video or have stuck by this far, consider leaving a subscribe. It means a lot to me. Also, if you guys want to chat about the build or Warframe or anything at all, check me out on Twitch. I'm live pretty much every day, or at least 2 times a week. But yeah, sorry for the interruption. Get back to the video. Thank you. But this can be changed out if you guys feel like it. All right. Whew. Moving on. Let's see. So we have our 4 abilities mentioned. So what is the synergy? Let's talk about the Arcane. So I mentioned multi-augmented giving us more strength. Prime Sheriff, by the way, is not mandatory, but comfy. But let's go back to the Arcanes. So we have Arcane Battery. So Arcane Battery gives you 0.3 energy per armor point, right? But if you see right here, we only have 210 armor. Where are we getting this armor from? And we're not running flow. So for a build that needs a bunch of ability spamming with no flow, what's going on? So Bastille, when it armor strips, it'll take some of that armor and give it back to you. So it's capped at 1,000 armor. So while you're in Bastille, you'll have 1,000 armor just chilling. There is a duration. So if you see that buff duration is at 17 seconds. When you leave Bastille, you'll retain that 1,000 armor buff for 17 seconds before it vanishes. So as long as you throw another Bastille and enter it to refresh the cooldown, you pretty much have that 1,000 armor extra for free. So basically we have 1,210 armor, which with battery gives us the same amount if we had in a flow, which is why I don't run flow. This is pretty much the same thing. Again, if you want to run flow in this slot as well, up to you. The world is your build. Do whatever you must, right? So overextended for more range. And then how are we proccing Archon Stretch? So with Archon Stretch, we'll be proccing it with Tesla Nervos. Because they seek out enemies, we don't have to worry about them. They usually stay alive a decent while, but sometimes they do die really fast. But so they'll seek out enemies, they'll proc Electric, which will proc Archon Stretch. So because of these two and the Nourish buff, you'll be getting energy non-stop. Energy would not be a problem for you at all. So overall, it seems pretty chill. You have duration, obviously duration. Your Bastille needs to last a while, so we're at 23 seconds. Cavalier Shield is just for survivability, overextended and stretch for range, and then stretch and energy nexus for energy regen. Refresh pipe for shield gating, pressure intensify is for the armor strip on Bastille, and I believe that is it, right? Streamline just to spam more abilities. It's pretty much set in stone. So let's talk about Archon Shards. Yeah, let's talk about Archon Shards. I usually end up forgetting them. So with Archon Shards, because it's for Void Cascade, you're gonna be doing a lot of movement. Back and forth, all like for an hour at least. So I threw in 1 Tau Forge parkour velocity, and I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I threw in a second one. If you feel you don't need them, don't use them. If you want to go max strength and duration shards, be my guest. If you want 1 parkour and then all strength, also fine. I have 2 empty slots just because I don't feel like I need anything else on this build. I don't want to invest too many like red shards for strength because I don't really need it. I don't want more cast speed because he has one-hand casting, so you can still reload, fire, and all that stuff with one hand. So you don't really need cast speed shards, but mess around with it, see what you think is missing, and fill in these 2 slots or 4 slots or 5 slots. This Tau shard, by the way, is just to make the strength even. I think to get an even 200% armor, 200% strength, for to make the armor strip a little bit faster. Other than that, let's move into the second part of the build, which is our secondary. So because you're doing level cap, you're gonna need a good weapon. So what I found to be the most comfy is the Laetum, because the Laetum has one of the passives from the evolutions. Whenever you hit a non-crit, you have a 50% chance to do 2,000 damage. This is insane. In level cap, level 10,000 enemies with no crazy build, this is doing insane numbers. Like, it would kill a level 10,000 Thrax with no difficulty at all. So the build is pretty average. I don't think it's anything unique, but the important part is Fortifier. So when you hit an enemy with Overguard, you would steal some of that Overguard for yourself, which in level 10,000 get in that extra layer of shield gate, because Overguard does give you like an extra layer of shield gate, is super useful, especially in level cap Cascade when there are tons of Overguard enemies. You have the Thrax, you have Eximus, you have another special enemy type, I forget what they're called, but the Arcane Fortifier goes really good in this build. So you have an extra layer in case you mess up in case of whatever. It makes it super comfy. Again, if you don't want to run this build on secondaries, or you don't want to run the Laetum, or don't want to run secondary fortifier, whatever your preferred weapon of choice works really well. But what we care about is this Vauban, making him shine in some sort of environment, because I don't see him run at all. But yeah, that should be the build. Let's go do a quick run, test them out, show you guys how it's supposed to look. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, tell me what you will change. If you guys do end up testing it out, let me know how it feels. Hopefully you enjoy this video, hopefully you enjoy the build. And yeah, let's go on to some gameplay and have a nice day, right?